The courtroom doors opened at 11 a.m., and 29-year-old Sarah Mitchell walked in wearing a simple blouse and slacks. She moved carefully, as if still getting used to her body, and carried a folder filled with medical records and membership documents. Her eyes showed the fatigue of someone who'd fought a battle no one should face at her age. Across the courtroom sat Derek Vaughn, owner of Elite Fitness Providence, in an expensive tracksuit Lululemon, probably $300, and designer sneakers that cost more than most people's monthly grocery budget. He checked his phone impatiently, clearly annoyed to be there. Before we dive into what happened in that courtroom, if you believe in justice and want to support a new channel dedicated to sharing these powerful stories, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. Every subscription helps us bring more of Judge Caprio's wisdom to light. The bailiff called the case. Sarah Mitchell versus Elite Fitness Providence. Civil matter, membership contract dispute and refund claim, $2,400. Judge Frank Caprio looked up from the file, his 37 years on the bench immediately sensing this wasn't a simple contract dispute. Ms. Mitchell, please approach the bench. Mr. Vaughn, you as well. Sarah walked forward with quiet dignity. Derek Vaughn stood with visible impatience. Ms. Mitchell, you're seeking a refund of $2,400 from Elite Fitness. Can you explain what happened? Sarah's voice was steady but emotional. Your Honor, I've been a member of Elite Fitness for 2 years. In January of this year, I paid $2,400 for an annual membership. That's $200 per month. In March, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. The gym was a huge part of my recovery. My doctors encouraged me to stay active, to rebuild my strength. When did the problem start? Last month, October 15th, I was in the women's locker room changing after a workout. Another member saw my surgical scars and complained to management. The next day, Mr. Vaughn called me and told me my membership was terminated immediately. Judge Caprio turned to Derek Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn, you terminated Ms. Mitchell's membership? Why? Vaughn's voice was casual, as if this was routine business. Your Honor, Elite Fitness is a premium facility. Our members pay $200 per month for a certain experience, a certain atmosphere. We have standards. When other members complained that Ms. Mitchell's appearance was making them uncomfortable, I had to take action to protect the majority of our clientele. The courtroom went silent. Even the court reporter stopped typing, stunned by what she'd just heard. Judge Caprio's expression hardened. Let me understand something. You terminated her membership because other members were uncomfortable with her surgical scars from cancer treatment? Your Honor, it's not personal. It's about maintaining the premium experience our members expect. We have a dress code, standards of presentation. Ms. Mitchell's condition. Her condition? You mean her survival of cancer? Her scars are visible and somewhat disturbing to other members. Several women complained. I run a business. I have to respond to customer feedback. Sarah's hands trembled as she pulled out a letter from her folder. Your Honor, this is the email Mr. Vaughn sent me. He wrote, Elite Fitness maintains strict aesthetic standards. Your visible scarring violates our member appearance policies. Your membership is terminated effective immediately. No refunds will be issued. What happened next would expose the depth of the gym owner's cruelty. Judge Caprio read the email carefully, his jaw tightening. Mr. Vaughn, you have member appearance policies? For a gym? A place people go specifically to improve their health and fitness? We're not a regular gym, Your Honor. We're an elite fitness club. Our members include executives, professionals, influencers. They expect a certain environment. An environment free of cancer survivors? An environment free of things that make other members uncomfortable. I didn't make the complaints. I received them. I'm just responding to legitimate customer concerns. Sarah's voice broke. Your Honor, I've never exposed my scars publicly. I wore appropriate workout clothing. The only place anyone saw my scars was in the locker room when I was changing. That's where women are supposed to be able to change clothes. Ms. Mitchell, what exactly are your scars from? I had a double mastectomy, Your Honor. I had reconstruction surgery, but the scars are still visible. They'll fade over time, but right now they're pretty prominent. I'm not ashamed of them. They're proof I survived. But I wasn't showing them off. I was just changing clothes like everyone else. If Judge Caprio's compassion moves you like it moves millions of others, show your support by subscribing to our channel. We're just starting out, and your subscription means everything. Judge Caprio turned back to Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn, breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women. Your gym presumably has many female members. Are you saying that if any of them get cancer and have surgery, you'll ban them too? Your Honor, that's a hypothetical. It's not hypothetical for Ms. Mitchell. She got cancer at 29 years old. She had surgery to save her life. She was using your gym as part of her recovery, which her doctors recommended, and you banned her for surviving. I banned her because other members complained. I have to protect my business. What about the dress code violation you mentioned? Vaughn pulled out a laminated card. Elite fitness members agree to maintain appropriate and aesthetically pleasing appearance at all times. It's right here in the membership contract, Section 12. Sarah spoke quietly. Your Honor, I read that contract when I signed up. I thought it meant wearing proper workout clothes, not being offensive or inappropriate. I never imagined it meant my cancer scars would get me banned. Judge Caprio took the contract and read it carefully. Mr. Vaughn, this clause says appropriate and aesthetically pleasing appearance. It mentions wearing clean athletic clothing and proper footwear. There's nothing here about medical scars or body alterations from surgery. It's implied, Your Honor. The spirit of the clause is to maintain standards. The spirit of the clause is to prevent people from working out naked or in street clothes, not to discriminate against cancer survivors. Vaughn's voice took on a defensive edge. Your Honor, I sympathize with Ms. Mitchell's medical situation. I really do. But I have a business to run. My members pay premium prices for a premium experience. If I allow things that make them uncomfortable, they'll cancel their memberships. I'll lose revenue. It's not personal. It's economics. You're calling a woman's cancer scars things? I'm calling them a business consideration. Look, Your Honor, people go to the gym to feel good about themselves. When they see someone with significant scarring, it reminds them of illness, mortality, pain. That's not the vibe we're cultivating at Elite Fitness. We're about strength, beauty, vitality. Ms. Mitchell's scars don't fit that brand image. The courtroom erupted in gasps and angry whispers. Sarah was crying now, tears streaming down her face. Judge Caprio stood up from his bench, something he rarely did, and his voice carried a fury that made everyone in the courtroom freeze. Mr. Vaughn, in my 37 years on this bench, I have heard some callous, cruel, heartless statements. But what you just said, reducing a cancer survivor's body to a brand image problem, is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in this courtroom. Your Honor, I'm just being honest about the business reality. You're being honest about your complete lack of humanity. Ms. Mitchell didn't choose to have cancer. She didn't choose to have her breasts removed. She made the choice to fight, to survive, to live. And you're punishing her for that survival because her scars don't fit your vibe. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm running a business. You are absolutely punishing her. You took her money, 2,400 nos, and then kicked her out when she needed that gym the most, when she was recovering from cancer, when exercise was part of her healing. Vaughn tried to speak, but Judge Caprio cut him off. Let me tell you what Ms. Mitchell's scars represent, Mr. Vaughn. They represent courage. They represent survival. They represent a 29-year-old woman who fought one of the hardest battles anyone can face and won. Those scars are medals of honor, not violations of your precious aesthetic standards. Sarah was sobbing openly now, but they were tears of relief. Someone finally understood. And you know what your actions represent? Discrimination, cruelty. The worst kind of shallow, image-obsessed thinking that treats people as commodities instead of human beings. Your Honor, with all due respect, I have the right to run my business as I see fit. You have responsibilities under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Cancer survivors are protected under federal disability discrimination law. What you did isn't just morally reprehensible, it's illegal. Vaughn's face went pale. I didn't think of it as disability discrimination. Of course you didn't think. You didn't think about Ms. Mitchell as a person. You thought about her as a threat to your brand. Here's what's going to happen now. The courtroom was dead silent. First, you will refund Ms. Mitchell's full $2,400 immediately. Not in installments, not in gym credits, actual money, within 7 days. Your Honor. Second, you will pay Ms. Mitchell $15,000 in compensatory damages for the emotional distress, humiliation, and discrimination she suffered at your hands. Vaughn's mouth fell open. $15,000? That's absurd. What's absurd is that a cancer survivor had to come to court to get justice from someone who should have shown compassion. Third, you will complete mandatory anti-discrimination training from a disability rights organization. You will learn why what you did was wrong, and you will learn how to comply with federal law. I run a gym, not a civil rights organization. Then you'll learn to run your gym within the law. Finally, I'm referring this case to the Rhode Island Commission for Human Rights for investigation. They'll determine if additional penalties or remediation are warranted. You can't destroy my business over one complaint. You destroyed Ms. Mitchell's dignity, her safe space for recovery, her sense of belonging. You treated her like a problem to be eliminated instead of a person to be respected. If your business can't survive treating people with basic decency, then perhaps it doesn't deserve to survive. As the hearing concluded, Sarah approached the bench with trembling hands. Your Honor, thank you. I felt so ashamed since this happened. So ugly, so broken. To hear you say my scars are medals of honor. She couldn't finish, overwhelmed with emotion. Judge Caprio's voice gentled. Sarah, you survived cancer at 29. You fought through surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. You're stronger than most people will ever have to be. Don't let anyone make you feel less than extraordinary. I just wanted to work out, to feel normal again. And you deserved that. You deserved support, encouragement, celebration of your recovery. Instead, you got cruelty. That's not your fault. That's on him. Within 24 hours, Sarah's story went viral. A local news reporter had been in the courtroom and shared what happened. The community's response was immediate and fierce. Within a week, over 300 elite fitness members had canceled their memberships in protest. Negative reviews flooded the gym's social media. Protests gathered outside the facility with signs reading, Cancer survivors welcome here, and scars are beautiful. Derek Vaughan tried to salvage the situation with a public apology, but it was too little, too late. The Commission for Human Rights found multiple ADA violations. Other cancer survivors came forward with similar stories of being made to feel unwelcome at Elite Fitness. 3 months after the court ruling, Elite Fitness Providence closed permanently. The space was taken over by a new gym called Strength and Courage Fitness, run by a breast cancer survivor who made it explicitly welcoming to people of all bodies, all abilities, all stages of health and recovery. Sarah became an advocate for cancer survivors' rights, speaking at hospitals and support groups about standing up to discrimination. She started a nonprofit providing free gym memberships to cancer patients and survivors who couldn't afford them. If this story touched your heart, if you believe judges like Frank Caprio represent the best of our justice system, please support our new channel by subscribing and liking this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear that justice and compassion can coexist. Comment below with your city. Let's build a community that believes in fairness for all. 2 years later, Sarah was cancer-free, healthy, and strong. She'd completed a half marathon, something she never thought she'd do. She still had her scars. They'd faded, but were visible. And she'd learned to see them the way Judge Caprio had, as medals of honor. Judge Caprio kept a photo on his desk that Sarah had sent him, her crossing the half-marathon finish line, arms raised in triumph, wearing a tank top that showed her scars proudly. On the back, she'd written, "Thank you for reminding me that survival isn't something to hide. It's something to celebrate." The case became a landmark in disability rights law, cited in legal briefs and training materials about ADA compliance and dignity in public accommodations. It reminded everyone that businesses serving the public have responsibilities beyond profit. They have a duty to treat all people with respect and humanity. Derek Vaughan, facing financial ruin and professional disgrace, eventually took the anti-discrimination training Judge Caprio had mandated. Whether he learned anything from it, no one knows. But his gym's closure sent a clear message to other business owners. Discrimination has consequences. Sarah walked into that courtroom feeling broken and ashamed. She walked out understanding that her scars told a story of survival, courage, and strength, a story more beautiful than any aesthetic standard could ever be. That's not just justice. That's validation of human dignity.